Rheinland-Pfalz und andere Teile von Deutschland möchte gerne AfD-Mitglieder ausschließen von Arbeiten bei der deutschen Staat irgendwie. Also kein Lehrer, kein Polizei, kein Feuerwehr. Die dürfen nichts machen vor der Staat, wenn es um Arbeit geht. Das möchte die Landesregierung sowie Rheinland-Pfalz in Deutschland durchkriegen. Which is crazy. Now, if there's anything that's Stasi-like in Germany, you could say that that is. So for my English-speaking friends, in Germany we have the AfD party, the only party in this country that will even try to get this country back on track, right? They're the only ones that are actually representing the interests of the people. And when they try, they get excluded by the rest of the government players. So the establishment is trying to exclude them in every way. They're trying to find a way to make them, to legally ban them. And since that's not working, now they're saying that all members, so members of the AfD party, not just the politicians, but the people on the ground that have decided to join their party on paper, all right? Those people, they want to stop from working for state institutions like schools, kindergartens, police, fire, etc. They want to say people who are members of the AfD are not in line with Germany's constitution, therefore they're a threat to democracy, and we will not allow them to work in state jobs, even if it's as a kindergarten teacher. That's what they want. Now, I don't know if it's the governor or the fucking mayor or the guy from Rheinland-Pfalz that made this statement publicly is already trying to backpedal a little bit. He's trying to say, no, well, we can't just exclude them all, but we're going to have kind of like an inquisition when they apply for a job with us. They're going to have to explain to us their political affiliation, if they are part of the AfD or not, or what party they're a member of. And we're going to ask them about certain topics to gauge their commitment to democracy. And when those people talk about democracy, they mean their democracy. See, they also always say that. They say, our democracy, our democracy. They say the same thing in America, the Democrats and the left do, right? It's the same chant all over the world. So they're not talking about democracy. They're talking about the AfD possibly ruining their democracy. And they're right about that. That's right. The AfD is coming for their democracy, because that's not the democracy that we want, right? We the people do not want their democracy. So the AfD is our way to root out their democracy. So they're right about that. And so they're trying everything they can. As I said from the beginning, right? The left is losing all over the world, but they are not going to go quietly. They are going to use everything they possibly can to fight and claw back the power they're losing. And they are. But the banning the AfD party is a very high hurdle, and so that's not going to get easily done, unless, of course, they can get two activist left-wing judges into the highest court in the country, the Verfassungsgericht. If they can get them in there, then maybe, then maybe the AfD will be banned, because they don't care about the law. They care about their activism, and they care about what the left's goals are. And so they are very dangerous people to get into the courts. But if they don't get put into the courts, the chances of the establishment banning the AfD party is pretty much nil, and they know that. And so now different, I guess you could call them states, so different Landesregionen, different states in Germany are trying in a different way. They're trying to intimidate all of the people that have decided to hitch their wagon to the AfD, right? They're trying to say, listen, you are part of a Nazi-type party that we do not agree with, and so therefore you will be excluded from all government jobs. Now, people can think, hey, I wouldn't want to work for the government anyway. I don't either. You know what I'm saying? I don't either. Now, that also means you can't be a cop. So they're excluding possibly very good people that Germany desperately needs as cops or military or firemen or teachers. They're excluding possibly very good people based on their political affiliation. And now I'm pretty sure that that is illegal in Germany. I'm pretty sure that's also why this dude from Rheinland-Pfalz walked it back and said, no, we're not going to exclude everybody on that basis. But he basically said they're going to have to prove to us that they're on board with our democracy and stand for our constitution the way it is written. Yeah. But, if you're an AfD party member, you don't have to tell them that, right? First of all. So I don't know how they're going to figure out if you're an AfD party member or not. You know what I mean? Now, if they have some sort of inside track to get that information, then they're using it illegally, right? That's not their business. It's not a business's business, even the government's business to know what political party you're affiliated with in a democracy, right? Now, in a dictatorship or a tyranny of some sort, I'm sure, like in Stasi Germany, I'm sure that those things were used against people, but that's why we stopped doing that. Yeah, that's why we call this shit a so-called democracy, right? That's why we put the facade over people's eyes that we are living in some sort of democratic system. There is no more Stasi. But there is a Stasi, it's just they don't call it that anymore. The Stasi is the left now, right? Leftist parties, left-wing politicians, they are the Stasi, right? And their supporters are the Stasi. They're the people that should be banned from government office, right? So that's their plan. Now, that plan they know is not going to work because people will just not tell them, right? What they're hoping to do is intimidate the public to not join the AfD party for fear of losing, livelihood, possible positions in life, because it starts with government positions because they have the power over that. But once regular businesses start seeing that the government is able to ban AfD party members from jobs, then businesses in Germany are going to try to do the same thing. They're going to say, well, fuck, if the government can do it, we can exclude these people as well. Just like they did with the masks and all the other shit, right? They will follow the lead of what the government is doing. If the government can trample all over your rights, then fuck they can too. And they will, right? So my advice for anybody that is AfD members, first of all, my advice for everybody that is not an AfD member, become one now. Stand up. Look what it costs. It doesn't cost much. Join. Because, hey, what they want is for people not to join. And it'll be a giant slap in their face if they see a lot of people joining. Going, F you fucking fascist prick bastards. Because that's what they are. They are the fascists. They are the Nazis. Not us. Not us. Right? And it's obvious. I don't have to defend that very much because reality spells it out for you. Right? They're the ones trying to ban speech. They're the ones trying to force people to take shots in the name of Big Pharma. They're the ones that take away your business. They're the ones that take away your rights and your freedoms. They're the ones that ban people's bank accounts. They're the ones that won't talk to the other side. They're the ones that would gladly use force on you in order to enforce climate policy. You know what I'm saying? They're crazy. They're the Nazis. All right? Let's not get it twisted. Right? I don't even have to think about it for 5 seconds. The proof is out there in front of your face. They are the Nazis, not us. Right? So I would say now is the time to join the AfD, show your support, and make sure their numbers go up, not down. You know what I mean? Because that will be a giant kick in their balls, and that's what they need, a kick in the fucking balls by the people that says, okay, we're done with this BS, right? We're done with this BS. Because they're going to try to do this. So you have I don't know why you'd want to work for the government anyway, except if you want to be a cop or fireman or something like that. So in that case, just fucking lie. You know what I'm saying? Lie, open an anonymous account so you can still support the AfD online with an anonymous account. Get a VPN, just lie. Don't fucking, you know what I'm saying? And don't allow yourself to sit through a giant political inquisition. You know what I mean? Because that's what they demand that you go through. It's crazy. This plan makes no sense. It's not going to work. It's going to backfire on them, just like everything else that they have tried to do to stop the AfD. Look at all the shit the Democrats, the justice system, the legal system, the government, the deep state, all of them in America, which is much more powerful than the German government. Much, much more. Look what they tried to do to Trump to get him to not be president. They tried to arrest him. They tried to kill him. They tried to put him in prison. They've tried to charge him with a bunch of shit. They tried to smear him. They tried to paint him as Hitler and the Nazis. They tried every fucking thing. And he got through, and now he's the president. Right? The same thing is happening here with the AFD. The establishment is trying every fucking thing they can to stop this party from getting into power. And everything they do is backfiring, and this plan will too. And I would suggest people join the AFD to support them as much as they can. That would be my solution to this. Don't let yourself get intimidated by these people. It's gross and weak if everybody gets intimidated by this kind of shit. They can't do shit to stop AFD members from getting positions in government jobs. They can't. I know they talk like they can. They can't. Okay? They can't. Because there's too many ways for you to get around it. You don't have to disclose your political affiliation to anyone who you're applying for as a job at. Now, if you refuse and they don't take you, sue them. Right? Sue them. As an employee in this country, you have a lot of rights. As a matter of fact, too many, right? As an employer, you have too little rights. You are under the thumb of your employees, pretty much. Now, I don't know how that works the same in the state, but you still have protections, right? So if they discriminate against you because you refuse to tell them your political affiliation or refuse to answer their inquisition questions, then sue them. Fight back. But I don't think that many people are going to have to fight back, because I think this shit's just going to go in the trash of BS things that they've tried to do to stop this party. And let's not let them win. Let's keep showing them, no matter what you do, everything you do that is outside the law, outside the system, to try to stop this party is going to backfire in your face, like it did on the Democrats in America with Trump, right? Every fucking Western country has tried the same tactics on each one of their right-wing possible leaders. And everywhere it has backfired utterly. So the Germans, at least the politicians, are not learning any lessons from anything, which makes them weak, which makes them easy to win against, if you just look at it that way, right? Their strategies are not working unless you let them work. And the AFD is not letting the strategies work. And the people are also not falling for the strategies anymore. At least a lot of them. Not enough, but a lot of them. Maybe the CDU has helped those people along in the right direction now. I hope so. So this idea of banning AFD party members from the government jobs is completely insane. It's probably completely illegal. I can't imagine that it is legal, right? It is a form of discrimination, right? And I don't think that they can do that. And hey, if they're doing that, let's say they do it, then I expect businesses all over Germany, right, to start hiring people based on their political positions. So, oh, you're a Christian Democrat or an SPD member, or you voted for them? No, we're not hiring you, right? No, we're not letting you into our establishment. No, I would start, if I had a business still, I did before, right, in Germany. If I still had a business, I would put up a sign. If this goes through in Rheinland-Pfalz or anywhere else in Germany, that AFD members are not allowed to have government jobs, I would put up a sign in my business that says, we are now allowed by the government to discriminate against people based on their political affiliation, and therefore I no longer want customers that voted for CDU, that voted for the SPD, and when you come in here, or when you try to get a job here, you are going to have to go through the inquisition of your political leanings. People need to start using the shit that this government is doing against the government. Simple as that, right? Start needling them. That's my position. Fight back in a way that you can, in every way you can. Use your voice, make posts, Join the AFD party. Like I said, make your payments to the öffentlich-rechtliche Rundfunk in 10 payments every time, so that they have to count it all together and fucking look for the payments and book each individual payment. Fuck with them. Fuck with them. Until they're pulling their hair out as much as we are pulling our hair out. You know what I'm saying? We're not completely powerless. But if we remain completely powerless now, if we don't take the little power we have at the moment, we are eventually going to be put in a position that we have to violently fight our way back to a free society. We don't want to get there. So do what you can do now that may be pushing the boundaries a little bit. Sure, you might get some social problems. Doesn't matter. Right now, you have the ability to fight back without violence and get results. If you let this opportunity pass you by, then the situation at some point will get to there is no option but violence. And I think everybody wants to stay away from that. So there you go, people. Another attempt by the establishment to try to crush the AFD, which is not going to work. It's going to backfire on them again, and it's going to be hilarious to watch. And I expect that if they really try to do this, that the people stand up, people who have businesses, also start discriminating against the establishment. And hey, it might cost you a little money, but you'll be doing something to stand against them without having to eventually get put in a situation where you or your kids are bunkered in your house with whatever little weapons you have, fighting against the government or having a civil war, like basically is what's going on in America, right? In America, it's already civil war. Different topic for a different day. I'll get to that at some point. Now, that is the end of the Insanity Report for Germany for today, the 17th of July, 2025. Before I go, I want to tell everybody how you can help save kids from child sex trafficking in a much more effective way than donating money to some NGO or some BS, right? I have a friend in Texas, and he is out there in connection with groups of dudes, ex-military, ex-intelligence, people that know what they're doing, that are locating these kids, right? Gathering evidence, then giving that evidence to the police. If you ever seen the movie Sound of Freedom, it's just like that. They are gathering their evidence so that they can rescue these kids from these traffickers. And my buddy in Texas, he basically collects money so that he can give it to them to cover their expenses, because what they do is obviously not free and they're not millionaires, so they need money to get this done, right? And they really need your help, because the cops are overwhelmed. The FBI is overwhelmed. The police services in all countries is overwhelmed with this problem, and they just can't or won't do enough to solve the problem. As a matter of fact, it's likely a lot of them in government are involved somewhere or another. So the only way this problem is going to be solved is by people like my buddy in Texas and the people he funds in order to get it done. Therefore, I'm going to put at the bottom of this video the link to his Give, Send, Go. You can read all about his project there, and you can give him a help with only $5, $2, $10, whatever you got. You can give it to him to help him fund the people that need the money to rescue these children. So that's basically it for today, people. Look at K-Mag's channel, look at K-Mag's Give, Send, Go, and you decide you want to help them, then that's the way to do it. It's the most effective way to do it. So get on it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.